watching Diversity in Automotive with Bridget Fitzpatrick.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Diversity in Automotive. Today, I'm joined by someone who's been leading the charge for equity and inclusion for this industry for years, Kathy Gilbert. She's the head of DEI Strategy and Partnerships for CDK Global and a founding board member of Women in Automotive. Kathy has dedicated her career to creating real change in our industry, and I'm so excited to dive into her work that she's doing and the impact that she's making. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
Yes. Now, congratulations on your new role, Head of DEI Strategy and Partnerships for CDK Global. Can you talk to us about that role and what you're doing now?
Absolutely. It's a very exciting role. I'm excited to talk about it. My role with CDK over the last multiple years has really been supporting our minority dealer community and our women retail community. And what's exciting is the market, when you look at what our industry is doing and the opportunity to work with customers, that's a passion of mine. And so CDK made an investment to broaden out my role and really to focus on leading the execution of our DEI strategy from a global perspective for all of CDK. And it's an honor to step in, especially at the time kind of where DEI is being evaluated across the board. So when I think about the role, it really focuses on 5 key pillars that CDK has, and that is our culture, our talent, our supplier diversity, our marketplace, and our community. And when I think about what I bring to the role, I've celebrated 30 years, actually 31 years on July 5th in the industry, and that's exciting for me because it has always been a focus in supporting minority and women communities, and now to be able to do that on a broader scale, really taking not only our external customers in our marketplace, but also our employees, and bringing it all together under a unified umbrella to support DEI efforts is phenomenal. So I'm excited.
As you should be, and congratulations on over 3 decades in the industry. And you're just doing great. How would you describe the state of diversity in automotive today? I know we've made some progress, but where do you think we're falling short?
So I would tell you that we've made great progress as it relates to the awareness and understanding that DEI is something that we need to think of. What I'm most excited about is when you look at the industry and you look at businesses and companies, studies show across the board that we benefit more as organizations, as people, as a country, when you have diverse talents, diverse perspectives included in the conversation. And so I'm excited at the fact that we're starting to see more of that. I think what's happening now in the industry is that you have a lot of organizations, because of what's happening kind of more politically, a lot of organizations that are redefining what DEI means within their organizations. Mm-hmm. But I am excited at the fact that they are not changing their direction. What they're doing is trying to define what it means in the context of the environment we're in, but they're still committed. They're still working internally to support diverse efforts and to be more inclusive. I think that's fantastic.
Me too.
I do know that, when I look at the industry, the state of diversity right now is kind of in flux, and we're trying to figure out what it means. But overall, it is still very critical to our businesses, because diverse thoughts across the board, especially when you take into account, we got electrification, we got AI, we got all of these technologies that are coming in that are going to require diverse thinking. And so organizations that are embracing it, I think, are doing well. I think there's some that are still trying to understand it, and I think they need to invest the time to.
Absolutely, and CDK is absolutely one of those companies. Now, let's talk about CDK has an executive DEI council. Can you talk to us about who's made up of that council and what they're doing?
So I have been supporting our DEI efforts my whole career at ADP, now CDK. And one of the things that I love about what we do is we look at how do we get the voices of our internal organization together. We want to understand, we want to have them involved. You can't drive an inclusive organization if you don't have the right people speaking at all levels. It isn't just one group, it isn't just one person. It takes everybody. And the beauty of this is in 2013, we launched the DEI Council. And the goal of the DEI Council was really to provide a vision, to provide governance, to help communicate our message broadly, as well as to make sure that we integrate DEI and diversity initiatives throughout our organization. So I'm excited to be part of that. I was the co-chair. Now I lead the DEI Council, and the council is made up of leaders, director and above, across our organization. So all disciplines are represented. But the other thing, which is really making it powerful, and the fact that we have our CEO, our CHRO, as well as our chief development and all of our executive leadership that is supportive, and they are kind of volunteering, if you will, or donating their time to really support not only the DEI Council, but also what we call our impact teams, which is a version of our business resource.
Yeah.
So I think that the council itself has been instrumental in helping us define where we want to go. And I'm now in the position of helping us to drive some of those initiatives in action.
That's great. And since 2013, you said? That's great.
2023. So it was only 2 years.
Okay.
We've had different kind of initiatives in play, but the council we brought together really to focus on how do we broaden out our message around DEI.
Nice. Now, beyond CDK, you're also involved in some other organizations, Women in Automotive and Women of Color Automotive Network. Can you talk to us about what you're doing with those organizations?
Yeah, so I will tell you, Women in Automotive is a passion. I love it. I love everything about what we do. When we started, I'm one of the original co-founders of Women in Automotive. We started it 10 years ago. Now we're into our 11th year. And when we sat together, it was 5 of us sitting around the table, realizing that we would go to automotive conferences and we didn't see a lot of women. We didn't kind of feel like it was for us. And so we started the organization with a whole focus on how do we recruit, how do we retain, how do we develop and mentor and really advocate and support women. And so Women in Automotive have been doing that since we started. I'm excited about that. We're under new ownership I think now it's about 3 years ago with Veronica Dumper, who stepped in, and she brought a strategic view. So a lot of the partners that she had worked with as a strategic leader, she brought those partners in. So we're broadening out, we're expanding. And I love the fact that Women in Automotive is looking to align with other women groups because they're all, we're all out there, and so many of us have different kind of focuses. And so WCAN, the Women of Color Automotive Network, is one of those organizations that we're looking to partner with because their mission is a little different. WCAN is really focused on women that are underrepresented. So women of color, like myself. And it's so interesting because they're focused on how do they attract and support and connect and really empower these women. And so there's so much that can be done. But like I said, there are other organizations out there really targeting women, and we are really big on aligning and supporting with them because the goal is, if we're all together, we're all speaking about how do we advance the role of women, that makes progress. But we need men too. So, we're also supporting, we're also looking for men that are supporting women to step up and to work with us as well, because we can't change the narrative.
No, especially in this industry when we are so heavily male dominated. So for sure,
exactly.
For sure. Now, you are doing a lot of mentoring and talking to a lot of people, a lot of minorities and women that are thinking about coming into the industry or just joining the industry. What advice do you find yourself giving them the most?
What I would tell you, that advice has changed over the years. But one of the things that I talk a lot about now is to really own your own perspective. Use your voice and leverage your voice, because so many times we walked in as women or as people of color. We walked into the room and we kind of stood in the back and observed what was going on. And so I think it's important that we bring our experiences, we bring our diversity, we bring our uniqueness to the workforce and to this industry, because we need it. We're going to need those perspectives as we look at the role that technology is playing, we look at the role that industry is playing. So all of those pieces come together, and I think the more diverse perspectives we have at the table, the better the solutions and the innovation.
Yes, and to that, now with when you think about dealers, vendors, OEMs, all of these companies, what can they do to not just check the diversity box and really create that culture of inclusion?
So I think a lot about this because over the years, this question has come up often. And we started out with, let's put programs in place and let's educate our workforce so they really understand what diversity really means, what equity and inclusion really means. Yeah. And what I would say is a check the box mentality is really, to me, all about numbers. I'm trying to hit some magical number. And diversity, equity, and inclusion doesn't really work that way. It's all about every individual move we make, the opportunity for us to be kind, the opportunity for us to give back, the opportunity for us to share. And so when I think about what we can do, one is to really be honest with ourselves that diversity does drive business success and looking at how can we incorporate diversity into our businesses. I love how CDK is doing that. The other thing that I really think is when you look at leaders that are making these decisions regarding talent or regarding what programs do they bring within the organization, they really have to look, are they being inclusive? Are you making your employees feel wanted and cared about? And maybe that's, wanted and cared about, maybe that's just a Kathy term. But think about, being respected and feeling safe where they can be their true selves. Because when we are our authentic self, we bring the best of us to work. But if I'm feeling like I can't share who I am or I'm holding some of that back, that limits me in terms of how effective and valued I can be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think it's about having having really the focus internally that this is important for us as a company, and it starts at the top of ourselves.
Yeah. I love that you said that they need to give them space to be themselves. I talk to so many women on CBT News and another network of ours where I host the Female Founder Show. And so many of them point out that when they got started or even now, they feel like they have to be a certain way, they have to act a certain way, and it's not true to themselves or it's not who they are, whether it's, putting on a certain outfit or the makeup that they're wearing. So I'm so glad you pointed that out because it is important for leaders to realize that we all have different perspectives, we all have different talents, and we need to be ourselves to be able to bring that out the best in the best way we can.
Oh, absolutely. I can't worry about, do I have the right outfit on?
Exactly.
We're trying to design something that's going to be used by our customers, is going to be used broadly. 100%. And so I think it is so important in organizations when they do that, whatever you call it, you don't have to call it DEI. You don't have to call it, diversity or inclusiveness.
Yeah.
But you do have to focus on how do you make people feel safe, feel like they belong in your organization, and that their voice is valued.
Yeah.
So if I provide an opinion, it might be different than everyone in the room, but it's a different perspective. Do we at least consider it, or is it immediately shut down?
Yeah.
And the organizations where it's considered, is discussed, and is valued, then you get more of that. You get more employees stepping up. You get more employees wanting to stay. Because there's a high turnover right now. If you just look at kind of the labor market, and there's changes happening in the labor market. And so companies are looking for really good talent. And I hope they're also looking in diverse pipelines in diverse places, because bringing diversity into your organization can only help the business.
Absolutely. Very well said. So when you think about the future of DEI with CDK and within our industry, what gives you hope that we're going to get to where we're going to be or where we need to be?
Well, you know what, I will tell you, I had a conversation a couple of days ago with a young lady, and she gave me hope. And what I mean by that is I think this new generation is coming into the workforce now. They don't have a lot of the guardrails that I had when I was entering the industry multiple years ago. I won't share how far back, but what I love is the fact that they're coming in with a broader perspective about who friends are. And some of that is because of the social channels that they have on the internet. But when you start to think about young people coming in with this bright energy and they're looking at how can they contribute and making sure that we provide an opportunity, that gives me hope, because again, they're coming in, if they're using their voice, if they're not shying away from, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. and I see them speaking out more and standing up more. So that's exciting to me. And the other thing I would tell you that I think is exciting is people in some of the worst times show their true humility. They show their true humanity in all of it. To me, that's that opportunity that we are going to see. Working together, being kind to people pays off.
Yeah.
So if I look at the next generation, what I hope is that our young leaders come in, I hope they use their voice. I hope they lead with kindness, because that allows people to open up. It allows people to share. People don't tend to shut down if you're kind and you just, I just want to learn. I want to listen. And I think the better we are at really listening to the people that we serve, the people that our customers, our employees and our partners, if we're listening to them, we're really trying to bring out the best of all of us. We recognize that we're all diverse. We're all different. We all have different perspectives, and that could make for a very powerful kind of world as we move forward.
Well, I've got one more question for you. You've been so generous with your time. Thank you very much. So what drives you personally to keep doing the work that you're doing?
I think what drives me is, one, when you walk into the world as a minority and as a woman, you immediately are aware of the places that fit and the places that you don't. And for me, I've never shied away from the places I don't fit. It was always about, let me try to figure it out. Let me, have a good time while I'm learning and help other people learn with. And so what I've been able to do, and I think a lot of it is just by being open and really listening, is I've had people share things with me about their story, about their life that have made me better. And so I do this because the more that I am able to help someone, the more that I'm able to help them find their aha moment, or Kathy, I would never have got there. I had this roadblock up, and all of a sudden just talking to you and you asking me questions. So being a mentor, being a coach, being that servant where you're out there to help people do better and be better, I think that's why I do this. And I always, try to explain as I talk to people that don't know someone's story, don't know what they're going through. And so if you take the time to listen, it can make all the difference.
And that, Kathy, is why you are perfect for this role. Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Yeah, this is great. And I'd love to have you on again in the future so we can talk about this some more. So important.
I would love that anytime. This is one of those topics I think you can never have too much discussion or too much conversation about, because there's so much out there that we can learn.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. So, yeah. Thank you again. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks for watching Diversity in Automotive with Bridget Fitzpatrick, exclusively on CBT News.